What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Poppy and I's YouTube channel. Today we got a new episode in our series on the history of athletic nutrition. We got a good one for you today. So on today's episode of the history of the athletic nutrition, we're discussing the history of the protein powder. Yeah, this is my circle right here. I'm so happy. Little baby. There you go. I love my creature. So, protein powder began in the 19th century. So, the 1800s, and they were primarily consisted of egg and milk powders that was mostly for the side of patients, hospital patients, mental patients, things like that. Huge thing back then, mental asylums, because everything and anything could get you committed to an asylum. But they needed to feed people, and they had all the money in the world to build buildings, but they needed to feed them, and your egg and milk powders became the big thing. After a while, people in fitness started using them. People like strongmen, highly popular during the circus era of the 1860s and forwards. And in the 1950s, that's when you had commercial protein powders coming forward, with people like Irving Johnson coming in and would be big bodybuilder contests. And then in the 1990s, with the refinement era, you started seeing whey proteins. And around, barely like 10 years ago, really more refined whey proteins, where you got isoproteins are the big thing now. Real quick, I would like to especially thank two companies. I'm not sponsored by them, but they make such phenomenal equipment that I wanted to make sure I thank them before we carry forward. I'd like to thank Pharaoh Goaltending and their phenomenal mask they make. It was Thanksgiving Day during the scrimmage. I was struck in the mask 6 times. And this mask kept me going through this whole time. Yeah, there's a few little bit of puck marks on here. Took some off the top of the dome, some off the cage. This mask did great, kept me going. Also like to thank Aegis for making these phenomenal D3O wrist guards, because I had a small child shot me being a child. And shot me right in, and now I'm fixing to show you cheat, because I was cheating, but shot me right there in that glove, right on the weak portion. Had I not been wearing these, that child probably would at least strained my wrist and maybe broke it. He was like 5 years old. I don't know if he would have broke my wrist or not. But you never know when they hit you in the weakest part of the glove. So, but because of the Aegis guards, all it did was sting, and it left no marks on my hand. So, special thanks to them two companies. I'm not sponsored by them, but they make such great stuff. I want to give them a shout. Okay, so now we get to the fun part, the actual making of the protein smoothie. Now, we'll start off real quick. We're utilizing our unflavored Isopure protein. I love that stuff. I put in literally everything and it does great. Real quick, if I was using a more classic style protein, I mean predating whey, I mean a like real classic style, like I was discussing, 1950s and 1980s style protein, I would add about 4 raw eggs to it, and that's what a traditionally made protein powder would need, is a few extra eggs thrown inside. thankfully protein nowadays don't require those extra eggs, so just not gonna do that to myself. And that's mostly because you'll be peeing them out anyway. The body, if it has access to protein, it's gonna pee the protein out. So starting us off, we're gonna start with a little splash of milk at the bottom. Sorry guys, I'm saying too much. I got a headache right now. Don't worry about it. We'll start us off with a little splash of milk at the bottom, keep from our ingredients sticking. And immediately after, I'm gonna add our powdered ingredients. I'm gonna add 4 scoops of protein. I'm gonna be drinking this throughout. 1, 2, 3, 4. My head hurts because I've been trying to break a caffeine addiction with me. Recently I've left out the military and trying to break that caffeine addiction. So my head hurts all the time and I just need a little bit of alleviation. So I'm gonna add a little bit of my morning coffee in there. A bit of coffee when I'm at work, man. Now, of course, drink to the foam. Take the bastard out the Navy. Can't take the bastard out the Navy. A little bit of adult juice. 2, 3, 4. That's about a shot. Vodka. This is about 4 servings worth of protein powders. So it'll be fine. It's about a quarter shot protein. We got 2 packets of artificial sugar. These came from our last videos of the history of the MREs. Please check that out. That will be linked after the video. A couple of artificial sweeteners. Make the head hurt go away. I got an entire small package of the berry medley from Walmart. As you guys can tell from my voice, Walmart's kind of my thing. I don't look like it. Walmart's kind of my thing. I have like 0 pump right now. We're going to top the blender off at the highest measurement point, so I think it's 150 milliliters, just like that. You gotta have a little room for it to breathe, you know. For those of you who never made some protein, you gotta have some room to breathe. We're gonna put this milk up, we're gonna hit this blender button. Alright, let's hit this baby. Let's spin this bitch up. And now we serve. I figured with this being a episode on the history and its history being so egg and milk based, figured why not serve this in a pickled egg jar. Correct. I had a little too much stuff in here. A little much. Woo. Little much. Hopefully cleanup isn't gonna be too rough. I'm gonna go finish pouring this in the sink before my cleanup becomes extra hard. And there we have it. We was able to finish that pour without tearing up my house with it. Give it a taste. Phenomenal as usual. Not sure why it was over poured like that. Usually I make smoothies, it doesn't have that problem. Could be, you know, it's in front of a camera, and my boys know this, where it's your turn to present and you got a boner for no reason whatsoever. Yeah, be the smoothie. Catch y'all in a few. That is all for this episode. If you would like to see me make a Psych Ward protein shake, let me know. Also, would you like me to subject myself to Psych Ward stuff? Would you like me to shock my brain? Leave a comment down below. Outside of that, thank y'all for watching. Bless y'all and have an awesome day.
요즘 사람 시기와 질투 Too clean with the drip 난 좀 배로 그러면 난 좀 더 바울이 걸려 Respect on my name 우리는